later. Yeah, I guess I'll let you take it away, and then we'll do like a Q&A later.
Okay, I'm going to go into share screen.
That should work.
Well, actually, before I do that, I want to just talk about the 10 essentials. You can find lots of lists of the top 10 essentials. They vary from list to list, but I'm just going to go through some things. Is good footwear. Whether you like high top, low top tennis shoes, just have good footwear. Always take a map with you. The map could be digital or the map could be on paper.
Sorry to interrupt. These are 10 essentials for hiking, best hiking outdoors, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
The next thing is water. Take as much water as you want and then double it. So always carry extra water.
Okay.
And food, I'm out of protein bars at the moment, so my other option is I like to take cooked sweet potatoes with me. Okay. The next thing is rain gear. Always bring a rain jacket with you.
Okay.
Then there's some safety items such as a flashlight, just has to be a little one, a whistle, and matches. However, your matches do need to be in a waterproof container or a very tight double zipped Ziploc bags. The other thing is first aid kit. Then sun protection, sunscreen, sun hat, whatever you like to protect your head. Even in the winter time when there's no leaves on the trees, there's still a lot of sun coming in. The other item is a knife or multi-tool. I never carry one. Some of this I just don't carry, but it's advised to. I grew up pretty much being a minimalist backpacker, and we never carried knife or multi-tool, anything like that. The next thing is a survival blanket. It's very lightweight, very small, compact.
I don't have that one. What's the difference of the survival blanket and like a normal blanket?
Oh, this is I can't remember the name of it, but it's reflective material. So when you put it around you, when your body's giving off heat, it reflects the heat back to you rather than escaping.
Okay.
So it just helps you keep warm. It's not going to be comfortable, but it helps keep you warm. You'll survive the night.
Like in case you get lost and have to sleep under a tree?
Yeah, I've never done that, but it's a good idea to carry one just in case.
Yeah.
Or you come across somebody who's injured and you're waiting rescue, that can help keep them warm. And the 11th item, there's usually 11th item on some of these, is a plastic bag. Just a big garbage bag. It can also double as a rain protection. And you just in the very bottom of the bag, you cut a hole in it. And then you cut 2 little arm slices. And you can use this as a emergency rain protection, snow protection. It's more important to keep your body dry than it is to let it get wet, because then you start running the factor of hypothermia. So whatever you do in the outdoors, keep your body as warm as possible.
Wow, these are all great tips. I didn't think about bringing a bag because when you said the rain jacket, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of bulky. And then you said, you could do just a plastic bag, and in case weather is sunny, but you get lost, and then all of a sudden you need to stay warm. That's actually a great idea.
Yeah, I used these in many occasions, and it's proven itself. It's cheap and it's lightweight and it's compact, and it's a lifesaver. Awesome. And if you don't end up using it as an emergency poncho, you just use it to carry out trash.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you're so inclined. So I'm going to undress.
Can I add the 12th item to the list? Not necessary, but optional and highly recommended. I bring this one. You can see that she's tired because we've hiked this morning, so she's all pooped out and sleeping. But I like bringing a friend or a dog or both.
Yeah, it's nap time for her.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
So I'm wearing an orange shirt, and I'll talk about the orange shirt as we go through the presentation. So I'm going to share my screen at this time.
Awesome. I can see your screen.
Okay, places to cardio. I'm just going to talk very briefly about some greenways, and then we'll move into trails. The first one, of course, would be American Tobacco Trail.
Oh,
which
so these are, sorry to interrupt, these are the trails around Raleigh-Durham area mostly, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
they're in the triangle.
In the triangle, cool.
Yeah. American Tobacco Trail, Trayburn, and Carey's Greenways, and then we'll move into some of the other trails. So this slide is going to just show us some places I'm going to be talking about.
Oh,
and
wow.
Starting in Hillsboro, you're familiar, Katya, with Okanichi.
I hike it every day. I live across the street.
I wish I lived across the street. Maybe I'll be your neighbor soon. Then I want to talk also about Trayburn, which is a community and also a business district north of Durham. Also, the Eno River State Park. Now, the Eno River State Park stretches along the Eno River lots of places, but this particular site is where the headquarters is located, and it's on Coal Mill Road.
Oh, I know that one. Yeah, it's really good. Is that where the quarry is?
No, but the quarry isn't too far from there.
Okay.
The quarry is, I go swimming there every summer, lots of times.
Except for last summer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was closed. So I had to use the swimming pool. We'll also be talking about Falls Lake.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk a little about John Umstead State Park. This is very close to the airport.
Yes.
It's right between 70 and 40.
Mm-hmm.
Right across 40 is Lake Crabtree. And there's a path through here, the Black River Trail, that goes to Bond Park.
Mm-hmm.
In Cary, and Cary has lots and lots of greenways, and a lot of the greenways connect each other. So you could start out in the morning and go through 5 different greenways, and they're all, a lot of them are just all connected.
Yeah, I think I've seen that one. That one has a lake too, and you can just keep walking. They have like a 10-mile, and then you just keep walking, go through the neighborhoods, and yeah.
And also, we're going to talk about Brumley Nature Preserve, which is part of the Triangle. Can't quite remember, Triangle Group.
Mm-hmm.
And my last slide that I'll send to you is just all the links to the different places we're going to chat about.
Yes, this is great.
Okay. First up is the American Tobacco Trail. It is a Rails to Trail Conservancy. Since it's a Rails to Trails, it is very level because railroad grade isn't very steep. So if you're looking for an easy hike or easy bike ride or easy rollerblade, this is a good place to go. It is 22 miles long, and it goes through Durham, Wake, and Chatham counties. Scrolling down on this web page, this is the map. This map is downloadable. And so I recommend printing it out and just having it in your file on your desk, ready to go whenever you are interested in joining up on the American Tobacco Trail. Right over here are some of the links that you can get your maps from.
Mm-hmm.
Moving along to Trayburn. Trayburn is in the northern part, north of Durham. It doesn't have a lot of mileage. There's probably like 5 or 6 total miles, and each trail goes out and then back. So there's no loop trails. You will not find another person walking on this trail. You'll have the trail pretty much to yourself. They do follow roads, but it's, the trail is a bit off the road. It's very nice to walk, particularly when the ground is really wet.
That's good to know because Okanichi is not good for that. It's muddy at the bottom.
Yeah, it is, particularly right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Awesome. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out.
the best place to, there's not a good website for Trayburn. The best place to do or to go is to go to Old Oxford Highway at International Drive, and there are signs posted there and maps, which it's hard to get lost. You can't get lost. And you can just take your pick. I want to do 2 mile hike. But of course, round trip would be 4 miles. And you might want to take a shorter one for a mile and a mile back. And it's quiet, it's peaceful. There's lots of bird life, but you do have some road noise.
Okay.
Moving on to the town of Cary. Scrolling down in here, they just have a ton of greenways, and they're each is very unique and different. My favorite is this one called Black Creek Greenway.
Mm-hmm.
It starts at Lake Crabtree and it goes to Bond Park in Cary. Here's its map. Just have to scroll down far enough.
Oh, wow.
Starting here in Lake Crabtree, going down to Bond Park. It's just a little over 7 miles. So if you're on a bicycle round trip, it's only 14 miles. There's not a lot of incline, but just a little bit, enough to get your cardio going, but it's nothing like Okanichi. It is all paved. The next place we're going to venture to is the Triangle Land Conservancy. Here they have numerous different nature preserves.
Wow.
And you can pick and choose. They're all in the Triangle area. We're going to look at the George and Julia Brumley Family Nature Preserve. It is located very close to Chapel Hill, or it's the northern part of Chapel Hill, but it's just east of Hillsborough, but west of Durham. So it's centrally located. It has a beautiful lake. Here's its map, and notice that there are 2 parking spaces or parking lots. One is here and the other one is at this area. The lower area has hiking trails only, which are, you can see by these dotted lines, those are hiking only. And the solid lines are for multi-use, and it's also for mountain bikes. So anyone into mountain bikes, this is a local place to go. On the north side of Highway 10, these are all hiking trails. This is a fairly new addition to the land that's been purchased by the Triangle Land Conservancy, but it's a nice getaway.
Yeah, it looks great. Is it Eno running through it?
I don't think so. I don't think so, but I'm not actually. No, I don't think the Eno goes there.
Okay.
No. There's nothing paved here. It's all going to be trails. So just pay attention. If it's been really, really wet and rainy, you may not want to go. You may want to choose a greenway rather than a trail. So that brings us up to William B. Umstead State Park, which is borders the airport. It has lots and lots of trails. And you can't get lost. It's very populated. If you get lost, you're unsure, you can just ask someone, hey, where am I? Here is the park map. There are 2 entrances. One entrance is on Highway 70 here, and the other entrance is off of Highway 40 at exit 287. And there are just many trails to choose from. They're color coded, they're marked. The trails are really becoming gully washed in places. It's a good idea to stay out of this area if there's been a lot of rain. But it is high elevation that you're not going to need to bushwhack or jump creeks, anything like that. I just wait for it to dry out a little bit and then go hiking in this area.
And you can also picnic there too, right? There's lots of spots for picnicking.
Yep, lots of picnicking. I've never seen it, but I think there's boat rentals here also, but just in the summertime.
I saw that. I've never done it, but there is. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep, and there's the airport. There's a lot of controversy with the airport wanting to expand and take some additional land.
From the park?
Pardon me?
From the park?
From the park and also they want to expand the quarry and takes additional some private land and some park. I don't know if that's going to happen. There's a lot of movement not to allow that to happen, but we'll wait and see. And Katya, you're very familiar with Okanichi.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to throw this in here because if you're looking for hill climbing, this is a good place to go. To start at the river and hike up to the top and go back down and go back up. It's steep. It's a good workout if you're carrying a pack. It's even more cardio.
Yeah, the only, I would say, con of this area is the trails are not so long. So the longest loop that you can do is only 2.2 miles. So it takes like a little longer than an hour. And at the bottom, if it's been raining, it'll be muddy for just a little bit, like a quarter of a mile from the parking lot in each direction, especially if you go to the little lake over there. On the map, it's a little muddy, but then after you start climbing, then it's not, and then it's so beautiful and rocky. Trails are not paved. If you're lazy and you just want the views, you can come here and go right to the top. It's like, I think, a quarter mile or half a mile to the top and then down, so you can just get the views and then picnic out. There's picnic tables, and Eno runs by it, so you see at the upper portion of the park there's Eno, and my dog jumps into it every time and gets super nasty, like no exceptions.
And usually the trail is high enough that it doesn't flood, so you don't have to resort to bushwhacking. And just a quick little tell, when I was growing up, I grew up in the town of Mebane. My brother and I would ride our bicycles here to Okanichi Mountain, and it was an active mine at the time. We'd play all day at the mine, and then we would, it's not really a mine, it's an open quarry, and then we'd ride our bicycles back home. And what they mined from here is some chemical or mineral that is particularly useful for, it's like a pyrite or it's used in like spark plugs. So it can handle a lot of heat without destroying itself. I don't remember the name of the mineral, but that's what it was used for.
Interesting. Didn't know that.
So moving on to the Eno River State Park. This is at the Coal Mill Road where the headquarters is located. And it is most noted for its Cox Mountain, which is somewhat similar in elevation and steepness as Okanichi. So if you're looking for a really good workout that's steep, and of course it's not going to be that long because we don't have that high of mountains here, it's a good place to go just to build strength as well. Oh, I thought that was a map, but I don't see the map.
It just goes along the river, I think.
Oh, here we go. Here's the map. And the map shows the entire river, well, not the entire river, but this long section of the river where the state park is represented. So there's a lot of state park there. There's several places you can park and hike along the river. And if you ever park right here, which is Pleasant Green, there used to be a dam there, but all the dams on the Eno have now been taken down.
Mm.
So I used to canoe there as a child, and we always put in right below the dam. And it was a fun place to go play in the river. And the last place I want to spend more time on is the Mountains to Sea Trail. This is a trail that starts in the very west of North Carolina, almost in the very corner, and it travels across NC, and it ends up in Nag's Head. If you notice, the red marks is trail, the black marks is road. So you still have to hike on the road until trails are built for a large portion of this. And the blue part here is the Noose River, which you can start here just south of Raleigh and paddle all the way to Newbern.
How long does that take?
Just the paddle?
Yeah, like a day.
Oh, it'd probably take 3 to 4 days.
Oh my God.
Because I've paddled the Haw River from Swepsonville all the way down to Wilmington, and it takes us 5 days.
Wow. So you paddle and then you figure out spots to camp beforehand, and when you hit that spot, you just camp and you wake up and paddle?
We never know where our campsite is going to be. We just wake up, start paddling, and whenever we get tired, we stop.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
But it's never going to be near a bridge. It's always going to be out in the wilderness where no one can see us, no one can hear us. It's not that we're loud, and we're usually just so tired we go right to bed. It gets a little tricky though the closer you get to Wilmington, because it gets swampy, and there you do have to pick and choose the closer you get to Wilmington.
Okay. Wow.
So I've never paddled the Noose River, and I imagine that it'd be the same thing when you start out. There's probably lots of opportunity to camp anywhere, but as you get closer to Newbern, it's going to get swampy, and your campsites might be not as gracious. This is another overview of the trail, and the segment that I'm going to concentrate on is segment 10, which occurs where we live, where we like to hike. And a little, just going in deeper into segment 10 is the Eno River and through Falls Lake. It's 77 miles long, and it's fairly easily. It's not steep at all like Okanichi Mountain is. It's a bit more gracious. And one thing here this is the Eno River State Park. And all along here is the Eno River. And the Eno River dumps into Falls Lake. An interesting fact to know about the Eno River is that when it rains, the river comes up very quickly. And within 12 hours later, the river's back down to normal. So if you know it's going to be raining, it's best not to travel. It's best not to travel along here, but 12 hours later is perfectly fine to travel along. And also, most of the trail is up high. It's not that close to the river, but just beware of that. Once it dumps into Falls Lake is dam controlled, and when they are expecting a lot of rain, as we have, they aren't releasing a lot of water to prevent flooding downstream. So Falls Lake is very high right now. A lot of the trail that goes right along the river, it's flooded. And I wanted to mention back to staying dry. I encountered someone on the trail this past week who tried to walk across a flooded area. She got up to her thighs and then decided to turn around and come back out. It's December, it's February, it's cold outside. Even though it was a warmer day, you just don't want to be getting wet. I don't advise trying to traverse water, particularly flooded water, while you're outdoors. What I have just been doing is bushwhacking around. Sometimes I have to follow a stream a half a mile up before I can find a place to cross it and then walk back down. And then there's the challenge of finding the trail on the other side. It's slow walking because you're trampling over branches and trees and just general bushwhacking, and then you're trying to find the trail again, so you're hyper alert on any trail, any markings on the tree, and you're moving slowly to find it. So if you're not familiar with this bushwhacking, then having to find the trail again, I don't recommend it. I would just come up to a place where you can't cross anymore and then go back, and then just keep going in the opposite direction, like go past your car and go in the opposite direction down the trail until you can't go anymore, and then turn around and just come back to your car. But I definitely advise, please don't go into the water, particularly this time of year. If it were an August day and it was 95 degrees, maybe you'd want to, but I still don't advise it. It's difficult on your feet to walk in wet socks and wet shoes. Currently, right now, the lower part of this is a little bit more, it's a little higher, and some places are easily passable. There's a lot of parks along the way, such as Shinleaf State Park. There's a Jaybird County Park, which is part of Wake County. And they're great places to go and park and then hike on the Mountains to Sea Trail from there. And when you get to the dam, that's pretty spectacular.
I've never gotten to the dam. I've only done like short loops on the Falls Lake, which now makes me want to go back.
Well, and as I scroll down further, here are the day hikes, and they have the distance, a short snippet about them. But notice that the Mountains to Sea Trail generally runs from west to east, but on these day hikes, it runs from east to west. So they start at the Falls Lake Dam, and they come west to the Eno. So that's just something to be aware of. It's a little confusing for me why it was happening this way, but it does. And right now, one place I definitely recommend not to go is this one called the Swamp Connection Day Hike R. It's swampy even in dry conditions. So I would definitely avoid that one this time of year. Um, some of my favorite ones is like the Blue Jay Park, and there's one called Shinleaf. Uh, if you're hiking the trail on to Shinleaf, I don't know why I can't find it.
Why do you like it the best?
You can, once you get to Shinleaf, you can do a hike into the park, and it takes you out on a long peninsula that wraps around. And it's just nice walking on this long peninsula, being practically surrounded by water.
That's beautiful. Awesome.
So let me just take a minute here to find it. Little Lick Creek. This is all very flooded right now. I met two women hiking this recently, and they were just they weren't having a good time because they were just having to bushwhack and jump creeks, and it just wasn't pleasant.
Mm.
Here's Shinleaf. They hike H. Oops.
I like that they split it by day hike and other longer hikes. This is super convenient.
Yeah. And when you click on it, you get a little bit more detail about the hike and parking. This one's really unique. Sometimes they have geology highlights, which is interesting to pay attention to the rock structures as you go along. In the east here, the rocks are well worn and they're well covered up with a lot of debris and trees, and they aren't as visible as if you were out west in the desert and can easily see rock. So that is everything I have to say, except for one thing, and I want to go back to why I was wearing this orange shirt. And the reason why I wear this orange shirt is during hunting season, a lot of the Mountains to Sea Trail is on wildlife game lands. And so it's important to wear something orange, wear an orange hat. If you're wearing an orange pack, just anything, just be aware of that. But hunting season, particularly deer season, is just usually somewhere in November, December, maybe early January, and that's it. So it's not hunting season right now. But I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you. I actually have a question about that. So I avoided some trails when they weren't hunting land, and I wasn't sure if it's hunting season or not. So do you have any resources to actually find out whether there's hunting allowed on that particular area and whether there's hunting on that day? Because I think on Sundays they don't hunt in some areas, and then like what's the season? What are the dates? Are they different? Where do you find this information?
Uh, I can find that website for you, and I'll post it with the other links.
Yes.
Um, it's the North Carolina Wildlife Management that says when seasons open and when seasons close. Almost every season pretty much closes today, but the only thing open is like snipe hunting or grouse hunting, and people just don't go for that really.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Cool.
And most hunters are usually go out at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and they go up in their tree stands and they wait. And usually by 8, 9 o'clock, they're climbing out of their tree stand and going back home.
Oh, so during the day, most people don't hunt or evening?
Generally, they don't. Now, sometimes in the evenings they do, but morning is the dominant time or the preferred time to hunt. That's when the deer are waking up and starting to move about. But they can be there at any time.
Okay, that's good to know.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Allison. That was a whole lot of useful information. I don't even know how I've lived here 10 years and didn't know about most of these trails. I'll have to go check them out.
Yeah, It's a lot of fun going exploring.
Yeah. Tyler's been getting into hiking lately.
Hi guys. Hi Allison. Finally, nice to meet you. And yeah, I've been recently trying out hiking a little bit. And I didn't really have any kind of hiking gear or whatsoever, including the boots. Yep, exactly. And I'm starting to enjoy it a little bit more, especially considering how hiking on the outside trails in the outdoor area helps with my allergies because my sinuses tend to be clogged all the time. And being outdoors and walking long distance, which I haven't been doing until recently, is helping a lot with my sinuses. So yeah.
Good.
Awesome. Also, boot wise, Allison, you showed your fancy hiking boots. I was thinking a lot of my friends hike in sneakers, and it's not really good for ankles. You know, there's sneakers for running, there's flat shoes for lifting, or I mean, elevated heel, but they're sturdy, like rubber sole, not really bendy, not really squishy sole shoes for lifting. And hiking shoes are hiking shoes, they're a separate kind of shoe. So it's worth investing in to hiking shoes, definitely to protect your feet and ankles. And a good advice for those people who don't have a lot of money to buy hiking shoes and good hiking shoes, because they can be $100, $200, etc. And people who are vegan, and most hiking shoes do have leather, is buy cheap construction boots. These are from Walmart. I bought them when I first got my construction internship in summer 2014. They were $15. I was on Walmart recently. They're still $15. They are fake leather. I think everything here is fake. So they're vegan, they're cheap, and these are quite nasty. I hike in them all the time still. All I have to do is change the inside sole, and I still hike in them. They're still waterproof, they're still indestructible, and super cheap. So just to put it out there.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, probably not necessarily for you, Allison, because you have all of the gear in the world, but for the people who'll be watching this in recording. Also, Caitlin just said, she just joined and she's at the gym. She said she's at the gym and can't talk without lots of noise, but is going to be hiking next Sunday with a friend. And she does not have hiking boots, but has nice no slip ones, like for working in greasy areas, and they work pretty well. Okay, so that's another option. Awesome. We didn't really go into like what was the wins and the questions from the last week. So how about we do this now to wrap? And this is Tyler's first time on the call, so he probably has a lot to share. Maybe Caitlin can also share for a second if there's a little less noise. But essentially, my win probably has been more hiking, more cardio, another pound and a half down on average, and starting to test maxes for the powerlifting meet, which is in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, even though I'm not going or can't go, but I wish everyone the best in your meet, and rooting for you back home in Durham.
Thank you.
Hope all goes well.
Speaking of that, there will be no call that Sunday. That is March the 21st. There will be no call that weekend because we'll be out of town. And Tyler and another guy from our gym we're all doing the same meet. So I want to ask Tyler, how has your prep been? We do have the same coach, Alexei, the Russian powerlifting. I think he's like a 5-times world champion, or I don't know, something crazy, or 6 times world and 5 times Olympia, or the other way around. But yeah. So Tyler used to do conjugate training, powerlifting training before, and now he does more traditional style with Alexei and I. So tell us more about your lifting.
Right. So since I've started training powerlifting with conjugate program, which is completely different from what I'm going right now, it was good in terms of like helping me getting used to powerlifting training in the field of powerlifting in general. But I was hitting some plateaus, especially around last year, because I wasn't really getting informed well. I wasn't training well enough. there were a lot of issues that what I was doing is a lot of things solo, and then I've decided to try it out with the more of a conventional version of powerlifting training. And at first when I saw the program, I'm not kidding, I thought I was gonna pass out at the gym because the stuff that I've seen felt as if something that I've been not getting used to, although I've been doing powerlifting stuff for quite some time now. And yet turns out that the programming topped with Katya's nutrition guidelines helped me not only drop about like 6 to 8 pounds in 6 weeks, but also gain more strength throughout, which was something that I honestly did not expect to happen at all in such a short notice as well. So whatever Alexi's giving me and whatever Katya's giving me with the nutrition plans, it's working. So I'm glad that it's happening. Also because I kind of want to shoot for something in the upcoming powerlifting meet in terms of the goal weight that I thought it was impossible to do so about a year ago. And things are starting to show up already, so I'm really hyped for it. So yeah, basically that in general, it's been going better than I expected, and I'm hoping and anticipating to gather a lot more out of it, and pretty sure that, you know, it's going to happen. So I'm glad that it's happening.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Caitlin sent the chat. Good luck with your respective meets, and congrats, Tyler, on your progress.
Thank you. I just read that.
Yes. Yeah, gym power. Hey, lifting in the mask, just like us. Nice. What are you doing now? Shoulder press or squats? Oh boy, she's showing something. I can't understand.
Front squats.
Front squats.
Yeah, just the pin squat, so nothing crazy, but I'm doing my best.
Oh yeah, no, pin squats are actually quite good. I wouldn't say it's nothing crazy. If you have never done them before, it could be difficult. So for those who don't know, pin squats is if you're in a squat rack, right? There's a barbell that you unrack and lays on your back, and then when you squat down, you can set the pins or like the safety supports on a certain height. So if you're, for example, afraid to squat with the weight and you think that you may not get up, then the barbell just lays on top of them and you can get out safely. And with Caitlin, right now what we're doing is we're training depth. So we're trying to get her squat a little deeper every time, slowly, not all at once. So she's setting the pins right around parallel. So when you squat, when your butt goes about parallel with your knee, that's what we're shooting for right now. And that's why the weight is light. So she squats, touches the pins, and gets up. So it's a quite a complex movement if you think about it, especially with the pause at the bottom. People who don't go to the gym usually just do like pause squats or box squats. So you can put a chair or a small box and you squat on the box where your butt touches the box and then you get up. So yeah, awesome, cool. Well, we've got a couple minutes left. Allison, do you want to share anything else?
I've met my hiking goal of 8 miles this week. Each week I increase it by 1 mile. So next week would be 9 miles. And as I'm going down the trail, I'll set my stopwatch for 10 minutes, and at 10-minute intervals, I'll stop and I'll do some type of exercise, such as sumo squats or ski squats. If I come across a bridge, I'll hold a plank on the bridge for 1 minute. If I come across a down tree that isn't all the way fallen onto the ground, it's still up quite a bit, I'll work on push-ups. Then I reset my watch and go another 10 minutes and do some more exercises.
That's an amazing idea, actually. I used to do that in prep when I thought regular cardio was boring. So I would run and then do like a bunch of a bunch of push-ups, lunges, or something else. But I would not do 10 minutes. I think I would do it like every 2 to 5 minutes. So I would run and then I would do an exercise, and then I would walk to recover, and then I would run again. So yeah, that's a really great idea. So depending on your goal, you can just throw some more strength training into your hiking or into your, leisure. And yeah, this is awesome. Nice. Caitlin says, Allison, that's next level. Such a great idea. I agree. That is next level. We haven't even discussed it. And you're like, yeah, I just do more workout stuff because what you give me is not enough. Okay. Cool. Well, let's do a little bit of Q&A if you guys have any questions. I know we chat throughout the week with y'all, but if you've been saving something for today, now's the time.
Don't think I have anything to ask immediately, but I'll let you guys know and everyone else in case if I have to come up with in case if I come up with a question that I want to share in a group chat as well. Now that I'm actually
thank you. You also talk with Alexi like all the time, so your questions get resolved pretty quickly. Anything interesting that you have asked him and like found out for yourself during the last week or two?
Haven't asked anything specifically like that lately, but thanks for the reminder. Actually, I actually need to talk about the number of pounds that I should go with in terms of each attempts for the upcoming meet. So pretty sure that I need to talk to him about it, especially since it's only about like 3 weeks out. So yeah.
One thing that Tyler figured out a little early in the training with us was rest. So I remember how because we're power lifters, we like lift really heavy and spend a lot of time in the gym. And then I think, Tyler, you used to go to the gym maybe like 5 days a week, and you would train really hard and max out every week.
Yep.
What time to get. And you were really surprised when you got like 3 workouts a week and then nothing else, or sometimes 4. So, because we lived together, we would go to the gym and I would have a workout, but you wouldn't have a workout that day. So you would stretch and then you would start doing some stuff. And then I would message Alexi and be like, so I don't think Tyler had a workout, but he was in the gym and like he did this and this. And Alexi would get so angry and be like, this is his rest day. Why doesn't he understand that rest day is rest day? Rest is more important than working out. Rest is when your muscle grows and recovers. And he would get so angry. So after a week or so of getting your coach so angry, you stopped lifting on rest days. You would rest on rest days and, maybe hike or do some very low intensity, like cardio recovery. So hiking, walking, stretching, yoga. And outside of that, you would lift on your lift days. So I want to give you a shout out, Tyler, for
Thank you.
lifting when you're supposed to and not lifting when you're not supposed to.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. Well, I think that's a wrap then. Caitlin asked me a couple questions earlier today, essentially about reps in reserve. So she's training by a beginner powerlifting program that I wrote for her. And sometimes what she would get, I think Allison, you used to get that sometimes from me too, is it was like leave 1 rep in reserve or go to failure or like RPE 8 or 10. So most of y'all already know, RPE 10 means as hard as you can. RPE 0 is you could do this forever. RPE 8 is about 2 repetitions in reserve. But what Caitlin sometimes gets is a little more complicated. So I would say it's a pyramid. So Allison, you may start getting that soon too, because you have weights, you have a pull-up bar. So if, for example, I'm doing the squats, I'm doing squats with, I don't know, a kettlebell, holding a kettlebell in front of me. And I'm doing a pyramid set. So I warm up with body weight, just do a bunch of squats with body weight. Cool, I warmed up. And then my starting weight is, I don't know, 20-pound kettlebell. So I hold it by my chest and I do the squats. And it says pyramid, add 5 pounds each set. I don't know, 10 reps until you can't. So as you can see, this doesn't define the number of sets. This just says start with 20 after warm-up doesn't count, add 5 pounds every time, and have 1 set in reserve. So that means if I start with 20 pounds kettlebell and I did set of 15, 25, set of 15, 30, set of 15, and I got until 45, and I realized, okay, if I increase it by another 5 pounds and take a 50-pound kettlebell, I will probably be able to do 15, but that will be a failure. That's 10 out of 10. So that means I don't do that set, and I stick with 45 as my last set. I do 15, it's hard, but I could still do a couple more, which I'm thinking probably means if I take a 50, that'll be my last set. So that's 1 set in reserve. I don't do that set. Stop at 45, and that's how it works. So yeah, Caitlin, also thank you for good questions earlier. And anything else, you guys?
That's it for me.
Awesome. Well, I recorded this whole call. Thank you so much, Allison, for super useful tips on hiking. Excited to share with everybody in the group. People in the north are going to be super jealous because it's snowing. But it's going to warm up, and a lot of people visit the area because we have a lot of Duke grads in my clients group. So I'm sure they will appreciate when they visit. Now they know where to go for beautiful trails. Well, thank you guys so much, and I will see you next Sunday then.
Great. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.